Okay, Hades Mega here. So the day after I put the Supermoto wheels on, everything looks okay with it. So pretty much the Supermoto part is done. I got the wheels on there. I haven't actually ridden the bike yet. I might do it sometime this week, but today, what I got going on today is we're gonna make some axle sliders. So to ride on a racetrack, they require you to have something on your swing arm or around your axles that allow your bike to slide if you go down, rather than dig into the ground pavement, and it could possibly make your bike flip. Um, it'd be kind of hard to flip this big bike. It's a tall bike. But anyway, um, you can buy some that are like already designed to be a thing, and or you can make your own. So right here, I got this. I don't remember how much I'll put a subtitle below how much I got it for. It's about. I know I mentioned it at the beginning of this little series, but it's these are skateboard wheels. They're they're for a skateboard. I think they are less than $10. I'll put the subtitle below how much they actually cost me. And I believe these are 98A durometer. So I used to ride. I used to do. I used to ride rollerblades when I was younger, and I remember they had different harnesses for the wheels basically. And when you got to around the 100 mark, is when you get to the really hard one. So a reason you would want a really hard skateboard wheel or rollerblade wheel is that they slide. They slide better. If you're, when you do the grinding, when you like grind the rails and stuff, you don't want the your wheels to stick wherever you're grinding. You want them to slide. So that's why they want that's why you want a harder wheel, harder compound. I think these are made out of like polyurethane or something. So the harder it is, the less traction you have. It wants to slide more, and that's what we want. We want the bike to slide. We don't want it to catch on anything, and like gouge a big hole in the track or something, or make a big gash in the track. So that's why they want you to have these. And so a low buck way to do it is to use skateboard wheels. So we're gonna do it on the KLX140 today. So it's a little bit of a challenge on the KLX140 because one, they don't really make some for these, and two, the front axle on the KLX140 is a solid axle. It's really skinny. So if you remember correctly, when we made the front wheel balancing rod, we had to use a M12, so it's a 12 millimeter axle. So I guess axles are normally bigger, like M14 or something, or some of them are really big and hollow. The KLX it's a small bike, it doesn't have that. So fortunately, so for today we're gonna do the rear because the rear is the easiest. Just want to knock this out as fast as possible. You actually per the rules, the way they want it is they want you to put some kind of slider either on the swing arm or on the axle. An example of a swing arm slider would be Kerplam right there. So that's a swing arm slider right there. So this swing arm already has, actually you can put some here too if you wanted to. This has a hollow axle. This is my Victory Impulse TT, and it already has like a threaded inserts already welded into the swing arm, so you put swing arm sliders. So that makes it easy on this bike. Plus, also look at that bike. Look at the axle on that. It's just totally goes. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, you can see the part in the front where our axle is. It's just a big hole. So that makes it a lot easier to put something like these guys on it. Okay, back here again. So we got our skateboard wheels. I got 4 of them. So it's enough to do the front and the back. And also, we'll need to make some foot peg sliders too. They want foot peg sliders. Don't ask me why. These foot pegs already swing up. I guess they don't want you scraping on the track. So we're gonna do the rear axles today. So that would require 2 of these, and what's called all thread. It's if you remember from the axle video for the front, I used all thread, basically a thread rod to make the axle. So these are 5/16 dash 18. I guess the dash 18 is like the thread pattern or something, and they're 2 feet long. I think we're only gonna need one. I think I bought 2 just in case. So one of those away, and then I have some 5/16. 5/16/18. Is that right? Oh yeah. Okay, this is 5/16/18 nylon insert lock nuts, and then some 5/16 washers. So I'm not really sure how we're gonna do this quite yet. It's different for like every bike. So this is more specifically for the KLX140, and I have these bearings that I managed to find. I got 4 of them. I don't know if we're gonna use them, but anyway, there's a 4th one that's hiding in here. These are some just dirty old rollerblade bearings, skateboard wheel bearings that I had lying around, and we're just gonna basically use them as spacers so they don't really roll anymore. I think I picked the worst ones, is what I did. Yeah, these are the worst ones, man. Yeah, so let's get started. So I believe 5/6. I must have measured something, but 5/16 look like the size that goes through the axle. Sure enough, it does. It does, but it doesn't. It doesn't go all the way. What the heck? Okay. Okay, got a little more light on it. So it's not going all the way through. There must be some reason it's not going all the way through. Okay. I think there's a burr on the other side of the axle, so we're gonna have to like kind of what's the word? Ream it a little bit. So we'll go and do that. For some reason it's getting stuck in there. It's not going in all the way. For some reason the axle. Yeah. For some reason the axle is smaller on the other side, so we're gonna have to drill that out slightly. Okay, so for whatever reason, it's thinner on the other side of the axle. So this video is intended as like a vlog. It's not kind of like a how-to, but like you can use it to make your own axle sliders for the KLX140. This video will focus more on the rear axle slider. So we're gonna go ahead and drill it out. 5/16 is I got a 5/16 and I went down about 3 sizes. So we're gonna slowly go up until the all thread will go all the way through. So, all right, there we go. Put it on the partial setting. I heard a lot of snapping sounds. Alright, anyway. Not quite yet. So that was 16/40 or something? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go up the next size. Almost there. I can feel it want to kind of go through, but not really. I hope I'm not messing these drill bits up. I hear it making a lot of noise. Okay, so we're going to go up a 3rd size. This is one before. Because, man, people ride through the street like really fast. It's only 25 miles per hour. Alright, so we're going up to a 3rd size. What you might want to do is get some WD-40. So my suggestion is to use a WD-40 as like a kind of cutting fluid. The good thing is it's like straight, so it shouldn't be too hard to. There's no danger of like you drilling it crooked or something. That much. Okay. Okay, that was the third bit. For some reason I skipped to the next one. Oh my god, why is the other side so much smaller than this side? Bigger than this side. It goes in fine until you get to here. Hope we're not messing the axle up. Okay, so we're gonna go to the final size, 15/16. Okay. All right, that was the biggest one, the 5/16 or 15/16, whatever it was. And there we go. Got it all the way through. Yippee-ki-yay. All the way through. So we had to use the 15/16 and drill out the other end a little bit. For some reason, the other end is wider than this side, so it's kind of odd. Maybe they use it to strengthen it. Hopefully our axle didn't get weaker. Okay, so what we want to do next is open our pack of skateboard wheels. And see how this fits. It looks like it fits perfectly already. We don't really have to do much. It fits like a glove. Okay, let me go clean up this axle a bit. It's quite dirty with WD-40 and metal shavings. Okay, so we got it all nice and cleaned up. So it actually fits over everything perfectly. It fits over the nut, the axle nut. So it actually worked out pretty good. So the axle actually goes through the center here. See, but it rests on the axle nut. So I think that's good. We don't really have to do anything else. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a washer to the end of it, so it has something. So the nut has something strong to push on. The other end should be fine. It's just resting on the flange for the axle nut. Okay, so I got my handy dandy little bolt box here, and we're looking for our washers. So what I'm trying to do is find a washer. Like, I got a big collection of washers. I'm trying to find a washer that that will rest on the little lip inside here, but it'll go through the big hole here. So I'm trying to find something like that. And I think we found it on our first try. Not bad. I thought we could use the bearing, but the thread doesn't go through it all the way. So we'll probably not do the bearing on. For sure, we won't do the bearing on the right side. So that actually goes through pretty well. If I could find one with maybe a smaller hole would be better, but that one actually is the right diameter. So I think those two are exactly the same. Yeah. So we're trying to find one that's close to a 5/16. The washers that I had in that pack did not fit, so anyway, I'll let you know when I find a good combination. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is we're going to go with that first one that I found, and we're going to just push that in there as good as we can. I think it'd be okay. We don't need to use any fancy tools, I think. We'll probably use a bolt. So I'll push it in there. Okay, it's most of the way through. have to, go hit it with the hammer. With one of these spacers here. Or you can probably use a socket too. Okay, I think that's pretty good in there already. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use this, but the hole is a little bit bigger than the thread. See, a little bit of play. So we're just going to add the washers that we bought, the 5/16 washers on top of it, and then per plamo. There you go. We've got one side. All right, so we'll go ahead and thread that through axle. Okay. Stick our slider in there. Out. Get our pack of lock washers. Crack that puppy open. The reason I use these SAE washers and stuff is because they're really cheap at Lowe's. So. All right, now we just go thread that in. Kind of hard to thread in because it's a lock washer. You probably want to get it so it sticks out a little bit on the tip. You want a little bit exposed thread, just a little bit. Okay, well, that'll do for now. Okay, so one side done. Look at that, not bad. It does kind of, so the way it is right now, the wheel does kind of spin around in there a little bit. That's okay, it's no big deal. Right. Okay, for our other wheel right there, we're gonna go do the same thing. We're gonna go press that washer in. Like it's in there good. That's what it looks like on each side. So that helps it push on there. Hopefully it won't break when you fall, but I'm gonna go thread that onto that guy. Okay, so it looks like we don't really have to do anything. We just have to use those washers. It's right next to the axle already. It's not even touching the the adjuster. Almost, not quite. It's all right. So next, you want to add another washer. 5/16 washer. Okay, so that's kind of the way it's going to be. Then you're going to want to, I'm going to want to tighten the other side a little bit so we have a little more thread on the other side. Then we're going to start. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pliers and I'm going to go ahead and tighten the other side. These pliers are just going to be used to hold it to keep it from spinning. Hopefully we can tighten it. Looks like it's being okay. It's not messing the threads up too much. And what I would do is maybe leave like 2 threads exposed on the other side. So this is what I got going on this side. So you can use a 5/16 is actually like close to the 13mm. And so yeah, so there's like about two threads exposed on that side. So that's about how I want it. I'm going to have just a little bit sticking out on the other side. And then push this all the way in. And then we're going to cut it. Probably cut it. Not really sure where we're going to cut it actually. We could thread the whatchamacallit all the way in. Not already yet all the way in, but anyway, we'll kind of guess. So the other one, it's sticking out like right about here. It's sticking out a little bit from where the wheel is. I would have a little extra just so just because just so you have something extra to play with. and then you just want to make sure if you mess up, you can still grind it a little bit so you can get the bolt on there, because the bolt may not go on there. So what we're going to do is marker of some sort, probably somewhere around here. So we're going to want to make sure you just cut all that black out right there. Okay. Okay, I got it all in the vise right now. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. So the mark is right here, as you can see, and don't worry about messing the threads up, because you're not going to need any of the threads in the mid where that's going to be going through the wheel anyways, so it's no big deal. Go ahead and clamp that sucker down as tight as you want. So I got my safety glasses, safety first, and here we go. Okay, wow, that thing just cut like a plamo. It kind of scared me a little bit there. Alright, so there it is. It's not even that hot. Nice little spark show for you there. So it's not cut totally flat, so what we're going to do is we're going to go use the grinder here. Okay, hopefully that did the trick. I didn't really grind it too much. It was pretty flat actually. Okay, that's the other end. So go ahead and get a another nut from the package and just make sure it threads on. If it doesn't, you might have to grind it again. And there we go, threads on. Nice. Okay, so let's have at it. Next thing to do is let's stick it through the other end first. Yeah, so we're gonna get our wheel, stick that like that, run it through the axle. Okay, and then we get our other wheel, stick that through the axle. Okay, and if it's too long, you can grind it down. Looks like it might be a little long. Grind it down to suit your tastes. Okay, so probably gonna need two 13mm for this. Okay, so it's kind of been a pain in the ass. So what you're going to want to do is try to thread this one through so it goes in a little easier. Because there's nothing for it to bite onto is the problem. Okay, there it is. So it looks like it's a little too long, so I'm going to go ahead and grind it down a little bit. It's sticking out a whole lot. You can see it from this angle. It's sticking out a little bit. So what we're going to do is cut a little bit off of that. We're just going to grind it in the grinder is what we're going to do. So probably want to get it to about half of that size or something. It's okay if it sticks out a little bit. I don't know why one side wants to stay on and the other side doesn't, so it's kind of weird. If you could like weld a stop to the other end, that would be good maybe. Okay, got it out. So we're just going to go grind this down to where the black is. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out a little bit. So it doesn't really matter what side you put it on. They're both the same. So the problem I'm having is one side is tightening more than the other. This is kind of annoying. So like I said, I think the best solution is to get one of those cap nuts. It doesn't have a hole on the other end, so it stops it. So it kind of turns it into a bolt basically, and then that way you won't have this problem with it like trying to play with getting the rod to go in the right position you want. So what I'm going to do is adjust this a little more. Okay, so I headed out to Lowe's before they closed, and I bought some, they call them Acorn Nuts is what they are. But also it's like they were like cap nuts somewhere else. So I don't know what Home Depot's rocking. These are made by Hillman, and they're 5/16 -18, and they come in a 2-pack, and I believe they're like $1.28 a pack, so I paid them almost $2.80 for both of them. So they're not super common. You have to kind of. I really had to go look around for them. I think these are the only ones that you could get that were like this. So I don't know. Home Depot might have something else. I went to Lowe's. So here we go. So I bought 4 of them. We really only need 2, but I bought 2 extra just in case I need it for something else. Alright, so take one out of the packet. So like I said, we're going to use one of these and then a lock washer. So what we might want to do to kind of turn this into a lock washer is put anti-seize on it. So let's take my little thing out here. It's out. And so what we want to do is we want to put a nut on, put one of these on one side. So we'll put it in there, and then we'll put some Loctite on it so it won't vibrate off. Okay. Yep. And you're going to want to snug that as tight as you can make it. I'm just cringing at yeah, you're going to use that on the threads? Okay, so apparently it's a different size too, so now we got to use different freaking size. The Acorn nut is a 14, Lowe's Acorn nut. But that's good, so that way you don't have to have 2 13s, you can have a 14 also. So just get that in there as far as you can get it. So basically you've turned your threaded rod into a bolt. So basically, this is kind of just turned into a bolt now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this through the other side. Put our 5/16 washer in, and then through our wheel. Stick it through the other side. Okay. And stick our wheel in there. Put our locking nut in there. And so, like I mentioned, the good thing about this is you can use 2 sockets, 2 different size sockets now. So we got the 13 and the 14. There we go. It doesn't have to be super tight. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super tight. Maybe just tight enough where you can't really spin the wheel. And there we go. So I think that's good. I'm pretty happy with that. So this side, you can see, sticks out a little bit with the little nut, but it's a rounded nut, so it'll slide on that, and it looks nice. If it was me, I would just put 2 of those Acorn nuts, but I think this is okay. This acts as a locking nut, and then yeah, and then there's this side. So So basically, what we done is we made like a really long bolt. Is what we did. We stuck it in there, and I think it turned out really good. I'm happy with the way it turned out. So this this rear axle slider project is done, and we got to get the other ones done too. Check it out. I think it looks the green skateboard wheels that I got go great with the bike. Look at that. Let's go. Yeah. I like it. Looks the part. So I think this will do the trick. Now let me ride on the track with these. I don't know. I'll probably just take them off if I go put the dirt bike wheels back on. Yeah, so should be cool. It still spins good. And you got some little rubber up there. So the next will be I have to do the foot peg sliders. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that quite yet. And then we're going to have to do the front axle sliders on this bike, and that one's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. But that'll be a different video. All right, there it is. So that's a rear axle slider from on a KLX140L with the Supermoto conversion. And we used 2 of these skateboard wheels that are 98 durometer. And then we used a Acorn Nut, one of these guys. And then we used a threaded rod that we cut to size, and then a locking nut. And then we used 2 washers. We used 4 washers, 2 washers to fit into the wheel, and then 5/16 washer just to make sure everything, it fits in there well. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think it's good. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it kind of sticks out a bit, but it should be fine. I could grind it if I wanted it to, but that's why I said, like, you don't really need to make it super tight, because the tighter you make it, the more the threads come out. So, and I think that's fine. That's sticking out about as much as the other side. So, I'm really happy. All right, here's we go. Oh yeah. So, and the cost. Let's see. I would say, well, I just spent like $1 something. It probably costs about $10 to do the rear. So, and it would probably cost less to do the front now, since we have more of the supplies. All right.